The sun filtered through the tall windows of the halls of justice, casting long, golden streaks across the polished mahogany benches. It was a place where stories often ended, but for those willing to listen, it was also a place where profound lessons began. The atmosphere was one of solemnity mixed with a flicker of hope, the kind of hope that comes from seeking the truth. In this sanctuary of accountability, the honorable judge presided with a wisdom that had been tempered by years of observing the intricate dance of human relationships. Chapter 1. The Weight of a Whisper. Rebecca Dewey walked into the courtroom with her head held high, though her heart felt heavy with the remnants of a dream that had slowly dissolved into a difficult reality. She was a woman who defined herself by her industry and her craft. For years, since the year 2008, she had mastered the delicate art of enhancing beauty, specializing in the intricate work of lashes. More recently, in May of the year 2021, she had expanded her horizons into personal training and aesthetics. She was a builder of confidence in others, yet she found herself in this room to reclaim a piece of her own. Across from her stood Isaiah Quiñones. He was a man with a charisma that could fill a room, the kind of presence that often masked the complexities beneath. Their story was not one of a long, weathered marriage, but of a brief season of dating that had left a lasting impact. They had known each other for only 1 month when the subject of an investment first arose in August of the year 2021. The judge looked at Rebecca, her gaze kind but searching. The judge asked what kind of work Rebecca performed. Rebecca explained her dedication to her clients, mentioning her long history with lashes and her new journey in personal training. The judge, with a touch of light humor, asked for clarification on the term lashes, and Rebecca smiled, explaining the craft she had practiced since the year 2018. The core of the dispute was a sum of $10,000. Rebecca believed it was a loan, a gesture of support for a man she was beginning to care for. Isaiah had spoken of a business venture, a plan to buy and resell automobiles to create a better future. Rebecca, being a person with a generous spirit and a desire to see others succeed, had provided the funds. She had saved this money through her own hard work, penny by penny, dollar by dollar. However, as the months passed, the clarity of the agreement began to blur. In the courtroom, the judge examined the records. There were payments of $3,605, then smaller amounts of $200, $100, and $2,500. The judge noted that the timeline of these payments did not perfectly align with the narrative of a single, structured loan. Rebecca admitted that her choices might not have seemed intelligent to an outsider. She acknowledged that she had known him for a very short time before handing over such a significant amount of money. The judge observed that Rebecca appeared to be a very intelligent person, and Rebecca softly agreed that, in this instance, her heart had perhaps outpaced her logic. Chapter 2. The Mirror of Intent. Isaiah's perspective was different. He did not see a loan. He saw a partnership. He admitted to receiving the $10,000 and explained his intent to purchase vehicles to flip them for a profit. He told the court that he had bought 2 cars in August of that year, spending $9,500 in total. But the market was unkind, and he claimed to have lost money, recouping only $8,000. The judge, with a sharp eye for mathematics of justice, pointed out that even if he had lost money, he was still holding $8,000 of Rebecca's initial investment. Isaiah continued his story, claiming he had tried again, even putting $2,000 of his own money into a second set of cars. He spent $10,000 total, but again, he claimed the sale only brought in $7,500. "You are a miserable businessman," the judge noted with dry but not unkind wit. The judge pointed out that regardless of whether it was a loan or an investment, Isaiah could not simply keep the remaining funds while Rebecca bore all the loss. As the testimony continued, the term love bombing was introduced to the room. Rebecca explained that it was a pattern where one person overwhelms another with intense affection and promises to create a false sense of security. She felt vulnerable, she said. She had wanted to believe in the dream he was selling. Isaiah countered by speaking of their relationship, mentioning that they were close and that he had faced personal struggles, including health issues like kidney stones that had kept him from his work. He insisted that the money was never an issue while they were together, only becoming a point of contention after they broke up. The judge listened to both sides, filtering through the emotions to find a pillar of fairness. The judge concluded that while the relationship was real, the financial imbalance was a wrong that needed to be righted. Even in a business partnership, one partner cannot walk away with the remaining cash while the other loses everything. The judge ruled in favor of Rebecca for the amount of $7,500. As they left the court, the lesson was clear. Generosity is a virtue, but it must be protected by boundaries. Rebecca realized that her vulnerability was not a weakness, but her trust was a treasure that deserved to be guarded more carefully. Isaiah was left to reflect on the difference between being a partner and being a person who takes more than they give. Chapter 3. The Bridge Between States. The second story of the day began with connection made in the digital world of TikTok. Courtney Lacey, an entrepreneur from Ohio, had built a business around her passion for men's grooming. She created beard products, pouring her creativity into jars that she hoped would help men feel more confident. She met Marcus Mayo online, and a friendship blossomed across state lines. In April of the year 2023, Marcus traveled all the way from Connecticut to Ohio. He had rented a high-end electric vehicle, a Tesla, at a cost of $1,400. His intention was to help Courtney at a vendor fair, a gesture that seemed on the surface to be one of pure support. They worked the event together. But the harmony was short-lived. Plans for the days following the event had not been clearly discussed. Courtney's children were returning home, and she felt uncomfortable having a guest she had only just met in person stay in her house while her children were there. She asked Marcus to leave and find a hotel. The shift in energy was immediate. As Marcus prepared to depart, he took with him 78 jars of Courtney's beard products. The agreement, according to Courtney, was that he would take them back to Connecticut to sell them to his friends in barbershops. Each jar cost Courtney about $6 or $7 to produce, making the total cost of the product approximately $468. Chapter 4. The Cost of a Disagreement. Back in the courtroom, the tension between the former friends was palpable. Courtney was suing for the value of the products, citing that Marcus had eventually thrown them away in a fit of anger. Marcus admitted to this, stating that looking at the products made him mad after their disagreement. He felt he had sacrificed time and money to help her, only to be asked to leave. The judge looked at the situation with a weary but wise perspective. It was a classic case of expectations not meeting reality. Marcus had driven a day and a half, rented an expensive car, and expected a certain level of hospitality. Courtney had prioritized the comfort of her family and the boundaries of her home. "You both made some bad choices," the judge remarked. The judge pointed out that driving across several states to meet someone from the internet without a clear plan was a risk. Similarly, inviting someone into one's business life without knowing their full name or character was a recipe for complications. The judge focused on the tangible loss. Marcus had taken property that did not belong to him and had destroyed it, regardless of his feelings of being slighted. He did not have the right to throw away the fruits of Courtney's labor. The judge awarded Courtney $468, the direct cost of the jars and the product within. Chapter 5. The Wisdom of the Path. As the courtroom cleared, the silence that followed was filled with the weight of the day's revelations. The officer of the court and the judge shared a moment of reflection. They had seen this scenario many times before. The intersection of digital lives and physical realities, the blurring of professional help and personal expectations. The judge spoke of the red flags that people often overlook when they are eager for connection or success. If you do not know a person's middle and last name, they should not be traveling across the country to your home, the judge noted. It was a simple rule, yet one often ignored in an age of instant digital intimacy. They discussed the concept of love bombing once more, acknowledging how a sudden rush of affection can leave a person completely off guard and fully trusting, often resulting in a lighter bank account and a heavy heart. Yet, despite the disputes and the disappointments, the spirit of the day was not one of cynicism. It was a reminder that justice exists to restore balance. Rebecca would continue her work in beauty and fitness, wiser and more guarded. Courtney would continue to craft her beard products, understanding now the importance of clear communication and professional boundaries. The stories told in that room were not just about money. They were about the value of work, the necessity of clear agreements, and the courage it takes to stand up for oneself when a relationship turns into a transaction. The sun continued to shine through the windows, a quiet witness to the human struggle to find fairness in an imperfect world. And as the doors closed, the echoes of the judge's wisdom remained, a guiding light for any who might find themselves navigating the complex waters of trust and ambition. The end of the day marked a new beginning for everyone involved. For in the heart of every legal struggle is a human heart, seeking to be understood, to be respected, and to find the strength to move forward with grace. Justice had been served, not just in dollars and cents, but in the restoration of clarity and the reaffirmation of human dignity.